Hey, this is Deborah Anderson, the BlkWmnAnimator, come back to you with another video. And this video is about why I gave up on creating an animation workforce in New Orleans. And the number one reason I gave up is because I did not want to do a disservice to the people of New Orleans / Louisiana. Something that I have learned in the decade plus I have lived here is that people from Louisiana stay in Louisiana, or when they leave, they come back. So I did not want to create all of these people that could do animation and there was no animation for them to do. In that, Louisiana capped their tax credits in 2015. They lost their status as the Hollywood of the South, and the jobs and projects they got went down 80%. And so Georgia was able to kind of come in and save the day and become the new Hollywood of the South because they have tax credits that are actually viable. And I think in maybe 2017, Louisiana kind of loosened up on their requirements, but it still cannot compete with other states. And so that results in, even if people do come for tax credits, they create a secondary location or an additional location for their studio, and they create these penny jobs that don't pay anything just so they can take advantage of the tax credits. And the things that I want to teach, you don't need to know. Well, for some of the penny jobs, you could need a animation background, 3D skills, but for some of them, anybody who likes video games can do those jobs. And there's really only one main studio now, at least for my skill set in the film and animation space, and that's Moonbot Studios. And they kind of went away 2016, but they're doing a restructuring and trying to get some investors and stuff like that. And then there's a couple game studios in New Orleans and some stuff in Baton Rouge, but nothing really like a substantial industry where people can hop around if they're unhappy. Like, you're either stuck or you're going to not be in the animation industry anymore, according to what is offered now. So I've even heard of companies creating an LLC just for the project they are working on to benefit from the tax credits. And then as soon as they wrap up shooting, they close everything up. And then anybody in Louisiana who worked on that project is just out of a job now, and they go back to California and maybe finish marketing and all that for their project, but it's only to use Louisiana, not to make it flourish. So I really did not want to do a disservice of creating all these people who would not have job security. And it would be better to, teach stuff in the CAD industry, because there's a lot of oil and gas, industrial manufacturing and whatnot in Louisiana. But that's not my skill set, and that could be something for someone else to do under my whatever this becomes. But I want to do what I want to do. So that's film and animation related. Even with some people that can learn what my skill set is, they can transfer that over to games. And games is allowing more things where it doesn't have to be as low poly as before, but they're still using a lot of low poly techniques, and that's not my strong suit. But I'm using what I have and teaching that. So that was setting, if I had continued, it would have been setting people up for failure. So as a result, I decided to take my efforts online, and that's why I'm putting time into doing this YouTube channel. I'm putting time into doing online courses so that even if people in Louisiana still want to learn it, they can. It's just offered to more people now, and that could possibly be offered to more people who are willing to move where the jobs are. Now, that's not necessarily always California, but it's definitely not Louisiana. A second piece to why I gave up on it is because my work means nothing here. I've had a lot of trouble working with other entities over the last 7 years of trying to kind of create my own thing. And it's kind of funny because I'll be in these spaces where I'm telling people what my thoughts are, and mostly probably because of how I look and how I look so young, they give me this advice that I could have used at year 1 to 3. And I'm just like, in my head, I'm just like, I've tried that already. You're like not giving me any advice for where I am now. And so I've stubbornly thought my work ethic could get me far. But when you think about the phrase, it's not what you know, it's who you know. In Louisiana, times that time 1,000. We even had, like, I was in a program and a local CEO was telling us, when you go to New York City and tell people you have a Harvard degree, that could at the very least get you in the door. In Louisiana, you tell somebody you went to Harvard, they're just like, and? It's like, do you have a certain last name? Do you know somebody? Are you part of this crew, like a Mardi Gras crew? Are you part of this social club, social aid and pleasure club? Did you go to this high school? I mean, in all honesty, for a New Orleans native or for a Louisiana native, you're better off telling them what high school you went to, depending on the high school you went to. You're better off telling them the high school you went to than the college you went to, because that will get you further. So, yeah, I could go to a conference, I could do a workshop, I could do a fair, and do awesome. There was one fair I did where I did a presentation and a workshop. Standing room only for the workshop. I mean, there could have been more people doing it if they had half of the computers working. Like, half of the computers didn't even work, or didn't have the program downloaded, and so a lot of people had to leave. But with that type of response, and then not being invited back the next year, it's just like, and then you have people who, if you go to maybe a session or conference or just talk to people and they say, oh yeah, reach out to me. And then if you reach out to them, they don't respond. Or people just tell you something to pacify you for years on end and nothing ever happens. Or people are just like, yeah, you should definitely do something, but it's like they're not trying to get you to work with them. And what they're working on is essentially what you need to be doing. And so, again, I was stubbornly thinking my work ethic could get me far. In recent years, maybe the past 3 to 4 years, I've decided to name drop. And that has worked for me a couple times. And then there's a local film organization where you look and see who they have providing classes to teens and stuff like that, and you're just like, really? Just as far as skill set? And I've even name dropped. I've reached out to them a couple times and name dropped at the request or at the suggestion of a friend who knows the person who runs it, or at least one of the persons involved, and just no response. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. So that's another reason, like, when you're in different cities and just trying to do your own thing, when you're putting in as much work as I put in, it actually does something for you. Like, I'm not being lazy, but it doesn't really do anything for me here. So that's another reason I took all my stuff online, so I could have more of an impact. I feel like online is the wave anyway. Like, there are people doing amazing things through YouTube. You know, Justin Bieber, he got his start through YouTube. And I remember being there before Justin Bieber got famous. Like, he just was a dude that sounded like a chipmunk. And every song he covered was too fast, and then he was a drummer. And so I am just going to try and do the online thing and just have access to more people, and encouraging people to either get a job in the industry or even to go indie, like, or even to have animation as a hobby. I just want to have a holistic view of animation, with a myriad of age levels and cultural backgrounds, and I could do that online, and you just can go so much further. You don't have to kind of be small and just focus on what's outside of your door, so to speak. Like, the whole world is outside of my door, but online allows me to be in more people's houses. So thanks for listening. I hope you like, comment, subscribe. If you have any ideas for any more videos, please let me know, and I will see you in the next video.